everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tony and I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. They're all here today. Everybody say hi. Hi. I've been wanting to show you guys a peek inside of Biblioplan, which is what we use for history. I really love it and I just want to show you guys how it works. And today we had a really fun lesson plan, so I thought I'd bring you guys along with us and you can do the lesson with us. So this is what we're using. This is Biblioplan Year 3, the early modern days. So this is the textbook that we use, Remember the Days. And this is what I'll be reading out of to the kids. And then we're also using the craft book, which I don't do this every week. This is not something, there's enough in here. You could probably do crafts 4 times a week if you wanted to. I don't have time for all that, but we do it every once in a while. And today is one of those days where what we're gonna be doing is this craft. So we are making an English trifle. So we're just gonna follow this recipe. This has to do with what we're learning about. And they all have all their ingredients in front of them, and they're gonna be making that while I'm reading the lesson to them because it's pretty easy. So that's what we're making today. If you wanna come along with us for a history lesson, then stay tuned. Okay, so like I said, we're making the English trifle. Everybody has their ingredients in front of us, so I will tell you what we have, what we are supposed to do. So this gives the ingredients. Make a sponge cake or an angel food cake, and we made that the other day. Can you hold yours up, Annabelle? So we made this the other day, and I didn't have a container big enough, so I just cut it in half and put half in each bag. Really fancy. I knew we were gonna be cutting it up anyway. So she's got the angel food cake already ready, and then it says vanilla or chocolate pudding, which Sienna has right here. So she's got 2 boxes of vanilla pudding, so she is gonna mix that up there. Then it says sliced fruit such as strawberries, peaches, or kiwi. All we got was strawberries because I don't remember. They either didn't have peaches or something. So we're just gonna do strawberries. Then we've got whipped cream. Who has whipped cream? You don't need a knife for whipped cream. Put the knife down.
No, I need this knife too.
No, put the knife down. Okay. And he's gonna be in charge of the whipped cream because that seems like a safe bet. Okay. So then we're just gonna layer it and make a pretty little cake. So they're gonna be working quietly on this while I'm reading to them, except she's gonna make hers real quick. And then we'll show you the final product afterwards. But you can hear how the lesson goes. Once she's done mixing, I will start reading. So let's go. Okay, so the noisy pudding is done being made, and these girls are gonna keep doing strawberries and cutting up the cake, and I'm gonna start reading the lesson so you guys can listen along with us. So I only have 1 page left to read for today to finish up, which was why I chose today to do this craft, because we only have a little bit of reading, and then we're gonna do what's called cool history questions, and then we are gonna do timelines. We actually squashing a lot of stuff into one day, which I normally spread out, but because I only had a little bit of reading, we're doing it all today. All right, so we are going to read about the Royal Society. The year of the restoration of the monarchy was also important for another reason. The same year, 1660, saw the start of a great organization called the Royal Society of London for improving natural knowledge. What does natural knowledge mean? In a word, science. The Royal Society was a group of scientists who helped each other find answers to a long list of questions. For example, some scientists wanted to know how to keep food from spoiling so quickly. Others were looking for better medicines, ones that could improve memory, ease pain, give better sleep, and help people live longer. Then came the military questions. The English Army wanted lightweight armor that no bullet could pierce. The Royal Navy wanted ships that neither storm nor cannon could sink. The Navy also had a question about navigation. With English ships traveling farther than ever, sailors wanted to know exactly where they were, lest they run out of food while searching for some far-off island. You would not want that, right? To be searching for a new island, to be searching for land, and you run out of food, and then what happens?
You die.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen. So, the Royal Society helped navigators in 2 ways: by drawing better charts and by building better clocks. Chapter 24. So we're going to talk about what does navigate mean, Liliana?
To navigate is to plan and follow a route. I can memorize.
Plan and follow a route. Good. Some of the greatest scientists of all time belong to the Royal Society. One was an Irish-born chemist called Robert Boyle, who is now called the father of modern chemistry. After Francis Bacon, Boyle was one of the first to follow the Baconian method. Remember we learned about Francis Bacon? Both Bacon and Boyle based their science on experiments, not on philosophy, the way the ancient Greeks did. The Royal Society encouraged scientists to share their discoveries with each other. As a founding member, Boyle was one of the first chemists to publish details about his experiments. Before Boyle, most chemists kept their experiments secret, in case they should discover the biggest secret of all, alchemy. Anyone who discovered that secret would think twice before sharing it. Sienna, what is alchemy?
Alchemy was the magical science of converting cheap metals like lead into precious metals like gold.
So that would be a huge discovery that they would not want just anybody to find out. So they would want to make sure they kept that a secret until they're ready to share it. Because that would be a big moneymaker once they could figure that out. Annabelle, can you read me who this guy is here?
Robert Boyle, father of modern chemistry, 1627 through 1690.
Very good. Another great member of the Royal Society was a genius called Sir Isaac Newton. Has anybody ever heard of Sir Isaac Newton? I know you've read about him before. Have you heard about him? Okay. Newton studied several branches of science and improved every one of them. It was Newton who discovered the secret that astronomer Johann Kepler had missed 100 years before, gravity. That's a pretty big thing to discover, is gravity, huh? Newton's law of universal gravitation explained what holds the heavens together. He learned that the force which pulls one heavenly body toward another is based on three factors: the mass of the second and the distance between the two. Newton's laws explained all kinds of orbits, from planets to comets. Newton also co-invented a whole new branch of mathematics, calculus, the study of curves and changes. Jonah, can you tell me who this guy is?
Isaac Newton.
You say it.
Isaac Newton.
That's Isaac Newton. Can you guys see? Okay, so that's all we are reading today. That's a much shorter lesson than we normally read. We usually have, I would say, 3 or 4 pages, but today it just happened to end up on a quick day. So now we're going to assemble our trifle.
Our trifle.
So the first thing we're going to do is put the cake in the bottom. So, Annabelle, do you want to put some cake in the bottom of the bowl?
Yeah, not all of it.
I don't know. Let's see how much fits. Sienna, now we're going to do a layer of pudding. So maybe do about half of it, and we'll see if we can do like a 2-layer trifle. Go ahead and put more bread on yours. Not cake, not bread, cake. gets to put all of that on top of the trifle. If you want to scoop, pick up the container and scoop it all in. Oops. Oh, look at that. We've got stripes. Oh my goodness. I love it. Look at that concentration. That's amazing. Okay, here is our amazing finished product. Look at that English trifle. Isn't that fun for history class? Love it. Awesome. We are going to eat this, and then we're also going to do our timeline, and we're going to do our cool history questions, so I'll bring you along with that, and then we'll be done. Let's go. Okay, so we do the cool history question for littles. I actually have found that these are so much more manageable. I felt like the cool history for middles was just hard. It was just a lot, and I don't know. The way we do history, I just read it to them, and it's maybe not something they retain all the information. I don't know. I'm not a history buff, so we were pretty like Charlotte Mason when it comes to history. I'm not super big on tests and things like that. So I got this book. I feel like this is a lot more manageable and easier for everybody to understand. Here's how I do it. So we've got all these questions. There's 13 questions here. And I either read it to them and have them look for the answer, or sometimes if I'm working with my son, I will just give them this book and they just read the question themselves, and then they look for the answers in the book. I tell my oldest if she ever knows the answer that she needs to just write it down without looking it up. So sometimes she'll do that. If she doesn't know the answer, I let them look it up. It's like an open book quiz, and I am totally fine with that. They all work together when they do it, but they each try to find the question themselves. This also has a couple other things on here. It's got the cool hands-on activity, which we usually do not do. It's got something up here for the older kids, for the reading suggestions from the companion, but we're not using the companion. And then Giants of Faith, which we're not doing that either. There is Globe Fun in the bottom, which we do sometimes, and I do like doing that. It's just an extra geography part. But for today, what we're focusing on is just the questions. So I'm going to read the questions for them. They're going to try to find it, and it is an open book quiz, so I am totally fine with that. So this is what they look like. So the first question is, the first colonists in Virginia built farms along two main rivers. The first was the James River. What was the second? They're still learning as they're having to look this stuff up, which is why I'm okay with it. They don't memorize everything the first time I read it to them. So they are learning it by having to look this stuff up. And I think that works, and I think it's really great. So we're looking for the two main rivers. One was the James River. What was the second river that they built farms on in Virginia? I think it's just, I don't know, it's a good way to reinforce history, and having them write it down, it helps them remember it a little bit better. And this is how they do it. They just open the book and they look it up, and then they write their answers down. They tell me what they get for their answer, and then I tell them if they're right or not. Because I have you get the answers to all these questions in like a printable PDF. So I print them out and I have them in my notebook. So I'm gonna go grab those real quick while they're working on these.
What was the question?
Here's the question, if you need to see it again. So here's the PDF. This is what this looks like. So they've got the answers, and this is what I just keep in the back of my planner. And it just has the week, it has the question, then it has the answer along with the question. So that's how I make sure their answers are right if I don't remember the answer, because I'm not a history buff either, like I said. The girls are going to finish up these questions here, and then I will show you what the timeline looks like. Okay, so now that they are done with their questions, we're going to work on the timeline. Like I said, sometimes we do timeline on the same day as questions, sometimes we don't. I try to spread it out, but there's weeks where life gets crazy and we end up having to do it on the same day, and that's fine. So this is the timeline book. It's very cool. They have these pictures that they cut out, and then they have to find the time period on the timeline, and they just glue it in here. So we learn things. All these pictures they have cut out and they have glued in, and it just kind of reinforces what we've learned. So in the back of the book is let's see, they just go to whatever week we're on. So we are on week 11. You guys may notice that we're not very far into history because, you know, it is what it is. We've had a difficult year, but we are plugging away the best we can. So the nice thing is they're labeled. So like week 11, they're just gonna cut these out and it'll get to the next spot where it says week 12. So they actually have all of these and all of these to put on. It's not always that much. That's actually a lot for 1 week, but this is all people that we have talked about this week, and they're gonna put them in on the timeline. So they're gonna go ahead and work on that.
1612 to 1672. So, how was the first word?
What was his name?
Peter Stuyvesant.
Oh, right here.
So the nice thing is in the timeline book, it actually has, so it has Peter Stuyvesant right there. So they find the time period and then they just glue the piece in. So go ahead and show me how you glue the piece in. Okay. Very good. So they each have, like it'll have the picture of the person and then it's got this little blurb here and they cut this off and then they find that in there. So here, this was attached to the picture that they just cut out, the Peter Stuyvesant one. Okay, so you guys keep plugging away. Okay. Okay. So we are all done. They're finished. So that is what a basic history lesson looks like. Sometimes, I mean, it looks different each day depending on what we do. We don't always make a treat. We don't always do a craft. But those are the basic components of our history. But the basic components to our history lesson are Remember the Days book, which I love. I've done in-depth looks at this before. So if you guys want to see like a flip through of this, I will link that above. We also have the craft book that we use and then the timeline book. So that is the gist of our history lesson. We add in some reading books here and there, but this is kind of our main core of, this is everything that we do. And I feel like they're learning a lot. We're doing really well and it's fun. It's not a dry, boring history lesson. Does everybody like history pretty good?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you guys are interested in Biblioplan, or if you have any questions or anything like that, just let me know. I have partnered with Biblioplan this year and I just love working with this company. So I'm super excited to be able to share this stuff with you guys. I hope you enjoyed doing this lesson with us today. And thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this and if you enjoyed these crazy kids doing their lesson, especially that one. Please give him a thumbs up. We really need a thumbs up, please. Right, Jonah? Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed this and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Jonah, sit still. I'll tell you guys, first of all, okay. Okay, sit. You don't need a knife for whipped cream. Put the knife down.
No, I need.
So you guys can listen along with us. Hey, chill. Okay, we're still recording. Up. What does navigate mean, Liliana?
Navigate.
Try again. Are we still recording? Lost Annabelle. A heavenly body toward another is based on 3 factors. Stop, please. Stop, please. Now. Okay.
You cut out the part that I don't know.
Don't lick anything while I'm filming. The leader of the Powhatan Confederacy. So that means he's a what? He's a Native American. So see if you can find leader of the Powhatan Confederacy. This, stop making that sound. This, oh, that's okay. All right, tell me, somebody, you're finished. So, is the, whoops, pretty good. We like, well, that was kind of dumb to say pretty good.